गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ Namaste and welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam for another delightful Satsang. It gives us great honor to be able to host this. I know how many children watched this. I just got off the phone from my little niece who is 3.5 years and she begins to dance every time I sing. So it is just fascinating to see how the divine name blesses every household. There is no limitations, no differentiations, no limitations of time and space. So let us together bathe in this divine vibrations, drenching ourselves, losing ourselves for the next few minutes with no conditions attached, no prayers attached, just the joy of singing, meditating, contemplating on these divine dimensions of human consciousness. We begin with invoking the powerful Ganesha. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha, a very powerful mantra got from the Atharva Shirsham, from the Vedic chant. May it enrich every home that plays this. May it enrich, empower every mind that contemplates on this powerful mantra. The bhajan is merely an excuse to bring this mantra home to all of us. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Om Ganganapataye Namaha 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 Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Ekadanta Gunam Vanta Vinayaka Ekadanta Gunavanta Vinayaka Ekadanta Gunavanta Vinayaka Ekadanta Gunavanta Vinayaka Vignaharana Shubha Mangala Charana Vignaharana Shubha Mangala Charana Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Pranava Swarupa Pahi Gajanana Om Ganganapataye Namaha 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 Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana He Shivanandana Pahi Gajanana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Pratama Vandana Gauri Nandana Ekadanta Gunavanta Vinayaka Ekadanta Gunavanta Vinayaka Vignaharana Shubha Mangala Charana Vignaharana Shubha Mangala Charana Pranava Swarupa पाहि गजानन प्रणवस्वरूपा पाहि गजानन प्रथमवन्दना गौरी नन्दन प्रथमवन्दना गौरी नन्दन गौरी नन्दन गौरी नन्दन ॐ। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ। For those of you who have just joined, welcome to Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. Before I begin today's satsang, here is an announcement so we are all on the same page. I know we discussed this idea, we floated this idea of taking a break on Sundays for many reasons, especially for us to maintain. We have 5 computers that is running all our programs, and we need to update those computers, install drivers and whatever that goes on almost on a weekly basis. So I thought we would take that day off to make sure all the systems are in place. So Sundays we will not have any online programs on behalf of KYG. If there is a Sai Satsang or anything else that I'm part of, I'll definitely post it on Facebook or share it on WhatsApp group. Now, in order for any such announcements to be made in case there's an emergency or something happens, because this is an everyday program that's going on, and it's likely that there's always be some situations, technical or otherwise, that could crop up, God forbid, right? Because we are broadcasting over 15 hours of spiritual content every week. It's possible one day there might be a gap or one class that might be missing. So I have created a WhatsApp group, which I always had this for many reasons. But if you are willing to be staying, would like to be in tune and stay in tuned to our programs in case there's any change, please send me a WhatsApp and I shall include you in that group. My number is 440-506-0125. If you're sending me from abroad, please put a number 1. So it's 1-440-506-0125. Please mention your first and last name when you send me a text, and I'll include you in that group. We also share some small thoughts here and there, but this is not a regular WhatsApp group. It's only that we post, it's only one-way traffic, because I don't want to create another virtual space where there's just flooded with forwards and videos. So it is just what we post on KYG, so you be rest assured that you're not going to get flooded very often. In fact, it's a very, very timid group as of now. So let us know and we'll keep you there. That way, if there's any change in the program, we do post on Facebook. So if you're already on Facebook, you don't have to worry. You will get to know. But for those of you who may not have Facebook, please do so. I apologize for those of you who were not aware of this change and had to text me. But I thought most of you all are on Facebook, so we just made an assumption and that was wrong. Anyway, so having cleared that, so as of now, there will be no programs on Sundays. Monday to Saturdays, we'll go full steam, and hopefully the universe will continue to bless us and guide us in the right direction. Having said that, we now turn our attention to Shri Dakshinamoorthy, the Divine Guru, whom we are invoking. This is such a powerful energy. I feel it in my bones, because when we began this, I shouldn't say we began this and the trouble started or problem started, but nevertheless, I think there is this energy spark that we are all creating this virtual space, that we are all being tested in some way in this, especially for us, for Maya and I. Something or the other kept going back and forth ever since we started Dakshinamurthy. So the Guru is shaking us a little bit. And Baba would tell us, when I hit a nail in the wall, I'm meaning as an analogy. I mean, he would never have to do that. But he said, if I hit a nail in the wall to hang my picture, then I would first hit it and then I'll shake the nail to see if it is firm. And then I'll hang my picture. So I guess the Guru is doing his task. I think as students of this divine journey, we have to do our task to prove to him that yes, we are firmly rooted in this path. We are not going to shake. And if necessary, let him hit us a little more in so that we are firmly rooted in this path of spirituality. So, having said that, let us invoke this divine guru. By invoking now, in this sense, this is a more benevolent, devotion-filled invocation where we bring our mind to a state of mindfulness, where we meditate on these qualities of this divine guru, Brahmanandam, Paramasukadam, and so on. So let's do that, and then we will study. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kaivalya Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvam Asyadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami Sadgurum Tam Namami. We are studying the meditative verses known as the Dhyana slokas. In Vedanta, and especially in these very meditative type of studies, before we study the qualities of the deity, of the energy principle, of the guru, we first meditate on who is this guru, what is this guru all about, and then we begin to study and offer our salutations, offer our pranams, or begin to praise that particular guru. So we are in this phase. We are in the first verse of the 6 verses of this meditation. We came to the point where he was holding the chin mudra. So let me sing these first 4 lines very beautifully, and then so beautifully composed. मौनव्याख्या प्रकटित परब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदऋषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम् स्वात्मारामं मुदितवदनं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिम् ईडे श्री दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे. So we were in this verse, the second verse, Shri Dakshina, and it ends beautifully. The second 2 lines of the very first verse. The first verse has 4 lines, so we are in the second 2 lines. Acharyendram Karakalita. So we studied this last time, but let me just touch upon it. Acharyendram, the king among acharyas. He is the guru of all gurus. And it is because of this that I included that long list of Shri Guru, Paramaguru, Parameshti Guru, Paratpara Guru, Mahaguru Swarupaya. He's the guru of all gurus. So in order to just say guru of all gurus, this way we know very systematically, consistently, mindfully, we begin every time we call upon this guru, we know that he is beyond all these gurus that you can ever think of. This is the supreme consciousness that we are calling upon. So Acharyendram. So this Indra of gods, Indra is a synonym here. Indra is used as like he's the king of devas. So Indra is the king among acharyas. Dakshinamurthy is a king among acharyas. So Karakalita, his hand is playfully seen in what? In Chinmudra. So we talked about it. There was a short video that we talked about and we cleared doubts, if any. And I'm glad many of you liked it. It's a very simple video, but nevertheless, when we get these basics without any doubt, so when we sit, we don't have all these little things that otherwise can cause disturbance in our mind. So that's why I thought it's important we do this. And as we study these, if there is any other things that I can share in a more general sense, we will definitely do that. Because like I said, I always like to study this with a practical intention point of view. We have to begin to nididhyasana, as we said right in the beginning, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. You listen, you assimilate, you contemplate upon it, and then you begin to assimilate it into your everyday life. In other words, bring it into practice. So Chinmudram is one thing, you can bring it into your practice. When you're meditating upon him, you should go into Chinmudra and say, wow, this is how he sits, right? Chinmudram Anandamurtim. The moment he puts the Chinmudra, Anandamurtim, there is complete Ananda. Ananda, like I said, has no opposite to it. This is absolute joy. So bliss is perhaps a way to describe it, I guess. This is joy of all joys. Again, like you said, king among teachers, this is king among all joys. There is no comparison here. So this joy, the moment he puts this, so this is it's a message for all of us. That the moment we connect to our soul, this is the Jivatma, right? In Chinmudra, this is the Jivatma. This is the Paramatma. When you combine these two, automatically you become the embodiment of joy. That's the idea here. Anandamurtim. Chinmudram Anandamurtim. So with the moment you and I, when we put this Chinmudra, you're leaving behind the three gunas. In other words, leave behind the world. I don't know whether you want to treat it as calling it, I don't want to escape from this world. Am I turning my back to my problems? Am I turning to the problem, back to the problems of the world? Am I like a stork putting my head into the sand? And I don't know the answer to those questions. But at that moment, I want to be separate from the three gunas. It's like taking a vacation, going home. I know you might think, wait a minute, when I take a vacation, I go away from home. What is this going home? But this is the beauty. We are all away from home. We have to take a vacation to go back home. That is the irony in spirituality. We have to go back home. This home is a very temporary home. This home is even more temporary than this home that this body is living in. But this body itself is so temporary. So we need to go home. So we take a break. So taking a break doesn't mean you're going to turn your back to your problems, you're going to escape from your problems and all of that. So when I say leave the three gunas, don't think about, but I love my family, why should I leave them behind and all of that. Don't get into so much of analytical thinking. All of us need a little time and space, right? You may love your child, you may be most fond of your children, but there are moments you want to just take a break, right? And I'm speaking like a parent, I'm not. But I'm just giving an idea. I mean, we had pets and so we loved them. But there are moments I didn't want to see them. I just wanted my own time because they would follow me everywhere, including my yoga mat. So there are moments where I wanted my space. That is all I'm saying. Here in Chinmudram Anandamurtim, you just go back to being yourself. There is no reason for this. There doesn't have to be a reason. There doesn't have to be a season. Just unconditionally go, I'm going back home. Chinmudram Ananda. And therefore the Ananda comes. Don't carry this burden with you. if the three gunas is all this creation is made of three gunas, right? We studied this in Sankhya. Everything that you can ever experience or think in all these dimensions here, all of these are comprised of the three gunas. You put them separate and suddenly the jiva, the I goes back to Paramatma. Then and this is such a powerful mudra, such a powerful mudra. So the moment, be very mindful of the moment I do this, I'm going to leave behind. I leave behind all of that. And just go back to being in touch with your innermost core, the source of everything, the Paramatma. This is the Paramatma. Symbolically, of course, but this is the Paramatma. And then you create that circular energy. So now you're just circling, the energy, the prana is just moving, getting you there, right? So this circle has many, very, very powerful symbolic meaning to it. Even Baba's staircase inside his room, a very, very tiny staircase, barely, I would say 15 inches or 18 inches wide. That's pretty much it. That was a staircase that would lead from downstairs to upstairs. And that's winding. Okay? And it is that same circular thing. So I used to think everything there was so symbolically constructed. Why couldn't he have just had a more comfortable way to go up, right? But it was constructed, and it's very tricky because he had long robes, and when it's circled like this, and there is a twist in such a narrow place that you barely have room to place your feet, because at one point it is narrow and then it becomes broad, right? It's almost like conical, because by the time you come, the other circle begins. So it's a very conical kind of staircase. Even we used to be very careful while going up and down. And these are stone, and it's very smooth and very slippery. Nevertheless, the circular way to go up. Circle. So the circle is very, very symbolic. It's not a coincidence that all planets, everything is circular in shape. The universe itself is elliptical in shape, so it is believed, the entire universe, and that is what is represented in the Shivalingam. It's the shape of the whole universe. So the circle concept is very powerful. The moment you go into the circle, know that there is no beginning, no end. In other words, when you touch your Paramatma, then who is Paramatma, who is Jivatma here? That has to merge. You going back home is, I go back to home, I go back to my own higher self. And knowing that my higher self is the divine self fills me with joy, Anandamurtim. Right? So going back to that circle is going back to that never-ending bliss, never-ending state of bliss. Never-ending state of bliss. Okay? So it's a very powerful, very beautiful Chinmudra. Chinmudra is such an amazing thing. It's blessed me in so many, many ways. It can help you progress in meditation so much. So have your faith. Don't think you're just doing something. Please trust this. The fingers control the prana, the breath. Right? For those of you who have not attended my Kaivalya Marga classes, it's an important thing got to understand that fingers represent breath. When you're agitated in your mind, unsteady, watch your fingers. It will be shaky. It will never be steady. That's why lie detecting or truth detecting machines, or lie detecting machines, I don't know what they call it, they always put their readers here. Any biofeedback machines always feel the pulse from the tips of your fingers. The sensation of the surface of the skin of your fingers will tell the machine a lot more than you can, or your eyes can, or your tongue can, your lips can. So there is so much, it's so sensitive. So that is why mudras are so important. And Chin Mudra is the king among all mudras. Perhaps the only mudra you need if you're interested in meditation and spirituality. Because this touches you back in, puts you back in touch, literally puts you back in touch. But like everything else, you might say, but then why am I not feeling my divinity within, right? That question will logically come up. Like everything else, these things have to, just like you invoke, just like you plant a seed of, let's say, a coconut tree or a mango tree, the moment you plant, it's not going to come. It's going to take time. So what do you do in the meantime? You've got to keep nourishing that, providing the nutrients, nourishing, trusting the process, and then slowly you will find this. So Like even mantras for that matter, you have to chant to bring out, for every one of us, there is the deity who will manifest in that mantra. The siddhi of that mantra will begin to happen. When the mantra within you begins to awaken, then you know that you have chanted it that many times. You awaken the energy of that mantra. Then you begin to feel the power of that mantra. It is the same thing with mudras as well. Same thing with asanas and everything. The more we do this, the more we keep this, the more mindfully, of course. You can't just put a tape around it and carry on doing your work. It doesn't work like that, right? I can't be sitting like this and watching CNN or some political news and getting all upset there and having a chin mudra. It doesn't help, okay? Mindfully, when I do this, give it full respect. Mindfully, when I do this, then every time I do this, it begins to trigger the same neurons in the brain. This will get connected to neurons firing in the brain. And then all your experience in deep meditations will come back to the surface. It's amazing. So trust in the process and don't ever lose faith in mudras like these. Let this become part of your everyday routine. If prayer and meditation, just put it there and keep moving. That's all. Let it gather its own momentum depending on how regular you practice. So Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. Such a beautiful statement here. These are the kind of sentences which used to stop me for weeks on end, and I would say, wow, what is this? I can't even progress beyond this. So bear with me if I seem that I'm pausing in a statement. It's not planned. I just feel guided to tell you all how important the Chin Mudra is. So Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. Murtim, you become the embodiment. You're not experiencing Ananda. Ananda is not an experience now that can come and go. You become the embodiment of Ananda. That means every cell, every pore begins to radiate that Ananda, that joy. And all of that, and all the other things, little things that are beneficial, are incidental benefits, as they call it, the perks. All the other perks like peace of mind, ability to handle stress, and immune system, all the little perks, immune system building, healthy body, health, all of that will fall in place. Those are not the main aims at all. The body becomes to reflect. Every cell begins to vibrate with that ananda which you experience in meditation. And that begins to revamp, revitalize, re-energize, and recreate a whole new body. So you can imagine how intense, how steady, more than intense, because if I use these words intense and all, you might misunderstand them and think, oh, I don't have time for this, I have to work and all of that. Don't think time versus intensity. It's a mindfulness. Even if I sit for 15 minutes, I'm going to take that 15 minutes completely with full respect I give to this. It is not the time I use when I'm driving to work and all of that. Those are all part-time devotions, right? We sing bhajans and we can chant mantras. All that is good. But taking time off everything, going back home, Chin Mudra, then that is what intensity is. That's what I mean by intensity, and mindfully when I practice, then that ananda begins to truly, truly, truly transform your body, your mind, and your spirit. That is the most fascinating benefit of such practices. So Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. So now look at this powerful statement. Acharyendram Karakalita Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. Let me do it one more time. Acharyendram Karakalita Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. That is it. King of teachers, Chin Mudram Ananda Murtim. So in the 1980, I think it was 83, 84 or so, I managed to get my hands on a camera. And I was in the ashram. So Baba would give these film rolls every time Dashara would come or birthday would come. He'd say, okay, who are the camera boys? Here, take. He would give, throw film rolls for everybody. Those days, you need to have film rolls. And so all I did was, in those 3 or 4 years, was only take his hands, because I was very fascinated by all the various mudras his hands did. Now I know what you're thinking. Where are those pictures? Show us those pictures. Unfortunately, I had a sack full of them and the termites took them all away in Chennai when I left Puttaparthi and came out. A full sack full of pictures. I think it was Swami's sign of saying, "Move, go beyond this." So, but anyway, I took pictures of especially in Dasara, he'll be sitting and he will be in some world. The yagna will be going on. His eyes might be open or closed, but his hands will always be in something or the other. It will be doing mudras and stay there. So I would zoom in and take all those pictures and I would meditate upon them, trying to understand the meaning of what it was, what each of them were. So that was the power of these mudras. That is when I began to understand how important it is. Somehow, inadvertently, his fingers were communicating to me, at least, and this is a blind man's way of looking at the Sadguru. Okay, the Sadguru has so many ways of communicating to so many people. This is just one person's view, one blind man's perspective. So take it with a pinch of salt. I used to feel that his fingers were communicating to me the state of where he was at that time. There's so much universe within universe, dimensions within dimensions that he could explore. And that's why his face would concoct into a smile, and it all various expressions would just come. And his eyes will always be dreamy and lost. So it was amazing to see that, sitting and actually watch somebody do that and be in that state. So for me, there was no need of any other proof of concept other than that. So that's why I'm so convinced about the importance of Chin Mudra. So in yoga, what happens, in these kind of practices, what happens, the mind can tell you what your hands are, right? We all know when we are agitated, like I said, we are nervous, so we start doing this. We are fast asleep, our hands are like this, right? We are relaxed, our hands are curled up. If we are upset, hands could go into a fist if we are angry. So all of these are hands reflecting mind. But in yoga, what happens? They turn it other way around. They said, use your hands to control the mind. Turn it other way around. So the hands, the fingers especially, the palms and fingers, I keep saying hands, but bear with me. Palms and fingers, if I can put them in mudra, then they can reverse the trend. Because the connection is there. Mind is connected to the fingers. That is established because it's our everyday experience. Now, why do I not capitalize on it and use my fingers to control the mind? So, mudras are one thing, but even generally, anytime you're upset, just massage your palms. Just massage your fingers. It's magical. Just massage these. Just relax. Don't say my problem should go away. Nothing. Don't even worry. Let the problem be there. All you do is just massage the fingers. Gently massage your fingers, press your palms. Now I know there are acupressure points and all of that. Don't worry about what is what, just the palms. Know that these are directly related to the pranic energy, and the prana controls the mind, and therefore from this your mind will feel calm, automatically. So that's why pay attention, and then in order to improve the siddhi of your hands, so here comes the trick. In order to improve the siddhi, in other words, purity of the hands. So why do I need to use the purity of hands? So that when I do mudras, it will become effective, right? In order to become, instead of calling it pure and impure, I call it in order to realize the siddhic power of your hands. Be very, very, very mindful of what you touch, who you touch, how you touch. That's all. Just for now onwards, just become mindful of this. You don't have to touch anything and everything in a shop, or you don't have to touch anybody and everybody just for the sake of touching. Because your children and all is different. But generally, you don't need, unless somebody is in dire straits, a squeeze of the arm or a pat on the back is important. Otherwise, it's really not really required, correct? So now with this COVID-19 situation, it's even more evident. But generally, I'm saying, I'm not talking of good and bad. I'm not talking of energy going away from your body, bad energy, vibrations, because all that is judgmental. I'm not even going there. All I'm saying is you be mindful of where all you place your hands, how you place your hands, where do you touch, whom do you touch, how do you touch, what do you touch. Just be mindful. That's all. Just mindfully do everything with your hands. Then mindfully when you do Chin Mudra, it begins to attain Siddhi. In other words, it will come alive. The energy of your hands will come alive. Trust me, just try this for a few months and you will notice yourself. Artists, painters will relate more to it. Sculptures, kids playing with little clay. Give them something to play with clay. Tell them to make idols. Because the young children, it's wonderful. When they do that, they are actually controlling the mind through their fingers. So all this ADHD and all of that will go away when you give them challenging, fun things to do with their hands. If you keep their fingers occupied, then automatically the mind will get very, very vigilant and very brilliant, in fact. That is why Sanskrit letters are so complicated. You make these aksharas and they join to, then there's a dot up and a dot below, and there is like this and like this. You might like, oh my God, this is so complication. But when you use your fingers to do those, you are actually creating neural paths in the brain. That's why I keep saying that the gray matter in the brain will actually increase when you learn to write Sanskrit. So even if your child may not have an inclination to drawing or painting, tell him let's do a new alphabet today. Sit with him and say let's all draw ch and ch and d and nya, na, and some alphabets, and then become words and letters and so on. Then every day when you draw and mindfully you're using fingers, right? So it is wonderful. Sculpting with clay, you're using both your fingers. So all these, so when you play harmonium, when you play musical instruments, you're using fingers. So it becomes very, very important. There is a very unique aura develops around this person who uses fingers to express the talents. Dancers, where they use mudras, but dancers are more than just fingers, okay? But their fingers are, of course, very, very important for them to convey, right? Everything they convey like this, and they do all, the moment they say fish, and they do this this mudra, and then the deer mudra, and when they do all of this in grace, they are very mindful, right? So that brings in not only bhava for them, it's actually a very spiritually transforming exercise. So don't think that you don't have any talent. If nothing, begin to write Sanskrit letters or your own mother tongue. Many of them are derived from Sanskrit. For those of you who know Tamil is again a very, very, the most ancient language. So that itself is also very tricky and very challenging to simply bring graphics down and write it. So all of this is connected to mudras. Then you will find in a few months' time that whenever you place your hands in any mudra, the mind begins to reverberate in that energy. If you want healing to be caused in yourself or others, it will happen if you're very, very mindful of what your hands do. Okay? So, Chinmudram Anandamurtim. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandamurtim. Swatma Ramam. Let's finish this today. Just 2 more minutes, because this is Swatma Ramam Mudita Vadanam. He is Swa Atma. Swa Atma is engrossed in himself. Swa is self. Atma, self. In his own Atma. Ramam, Ramyate iti Ramam. Ramyate Ramam. Ramam is that which gives joy. So he is rejoicing in his own self. Swa is self. Swa Atma. In his own self, what is he doing? He's rejoicing in his own self, being in his own self. Begin to enjoy being who you are. Begin to enjoy your own company. You don't have to seek unnecessary company. Yes, we are all social creatures. We need to socialize. But for many years, I stayed in Baba's ashram, and if you ask every student, Baba would constantly say, unnecessary talking, no need to talk, no need to mix with people, just be yourself, just be yourself. And at first I used to wonder, what is this? This goes completely against our very nature of human being. But then I began to understand the importance of that, how powerful it is when we begin to rejoice in our own company. Then we begin to enjoy company of our near and dear ones. So we don't say, oh my gosh, I'm tired of being in the family. I want to go, I want to take a break. I want to run away from home. All of that will not happen. Because when you begin to rejoice with yourself, you begin to rejoice with people around you as well. So take time. Swatma Ramam. Rejoice in his own self. This is what the Guru is. This is what you're meditating upon. So all these qualities will come into us. Swatma Ramam. Mudita Vadanam. And therefore, of course, the face, how will the face be? Pleasing, because the face begins to reflect All of this. Acharendram Karakalita Chinmudram Anandamurtim Swatmaramam. This Guru, divine Guru, is completely lost in himself, rejoicing. He is content being in himself. He doesn't seek to go anywhere or get something or become something. He's just completely content because he knows the Jivatma and Paramatma. There's no difference. And in the meditation verses, it will come. It will come very beautifully. It will come. We'll explore this later on. That's why I set the base for this. Swatmaramam mudita vadanam. Very beautiful, sweet, pleasing. The modaka, which means sweet dish. Modaka, mudita, all of that has the same basis etymologically. So mudita vadanam is face. Swatmaramam mudita vadanam. Shri Dakshinamoorthy. Shri Dakshinamoorthy. Every time you say that Dakshinamoorthy, know that one who is capable, you're calling upon this formless entity that is capable. Capable of what? Capable of anything and everything. The word capable is actually not such a great meaning. But here I've just put Dakshina as Dakshina, but we have understood the word of Dakshina earlier in the class. Dakshina is Dakshyam. The one who has, the Daksha was called, the one who has capability. So Shri, auspicious Dakshina Murtim, this embodiment of this pure auspiciousness, of infinite capability. Ide, Murtim, Ide. Ide is worship. So whenever you say this Dakshinamurti in your mantras, say it with absolute mindfulness and reverence, because that is a powerful mantra by itself. You're invoking Shri, auspicious Dakshina, that which is formless, which is capable of anything. That I worship, Ide. That I am invoking. Such a beautiful, beautiful mantra. So let's go back. Go to the next one. Let me see if I can sing this. If it's there, then we'll. Okay. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramānandamurtim Swatmaramam Mudita Vadanam Shri Dakshina Murtimide Shri Dakshina Murtimide Shri Dakshina Murtimide. That's it. We touched upon the supreme principle. Wonderful. So let us, on that note, invoke this divine energy. Tune to this divine energy and chant the most powerful among mantras, seeking the blessings. And then we'll spend some time in a short bhajan. Om Bhuh Purusham Shri Dakshinamurti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhuvah Purusham Shri Dakshinamurti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Suvah Purusham Shri Dakshinamurti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om Bhurbhuvasuvah Purusham Shri Dakshinamurti Rupaya Shri Samba Sadashivam Avahayami. Om श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। श्री गुरु परम गुरु परमेष्टि गुरु परात्पर गुरु महागुरु स्वरूपाय ओम नमो भगवते दक्षिणामूर्तये मह्यं मेधां प्रज्ञां प्रयच्छ स्वाहा। सद्गुरुवे नमः। ओम 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 सद्गुरुवे नमः। जय जय गुरुदेवा श्री साई महादेवा। 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 ओम सद्गुरुवे नमः। 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 जय जय गुरुदेव महादेवा ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरा साई महादेवा ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरा साई महादेवा साई महादेवा ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश्वरा साई महादेवा माता पिता गुरुदेवा श्री साई महादेवा माता पिता गुरुदेवा श्री साई महादेवा जय जय गुरुदेवा श्री साई महादेवा ओम सद्गुरुवे नमः 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 समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु May all the beings in all the worlds be happy. जय बोलो पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय नमः पार्वती पतये हर